Hi there and welcome back. It's Lisa from Critters'n Ink Designs in Ontario, Canada. And today I'm going to make another 3 alternatives for the July Painted Petals paper pumpkin. So let me just show you what we have so far. These 3 cards, oops, let me come down to my desk. These 3 cards were the original cards in the kit, and I was so disappointed when I went to order the refills for the kit. They were completely sold out by 6:45 in the morning. I was like, oh, I guess I won't be getting any of those. So these were the original 3 cards, and you can see these raised, we call these like little elements, and I'll put the video up at the top of the corner to show you how we did the original video. And then the first 3 alternatives that we did, these were the first 3 alternatives that I did when I was actually doing the original video. And I used the Thanks and Beyond dies from the April, May, June paper pumpkin add-ons. And then the Hooray here is from the July, August, September add-on dies called Celebrate, Every Celebration die. Okay, so I had recorded this without sound because I had my granddaughter coloring in here, and she's a regular chatterbox. So I thought I would do my first voiceover and see how that goes. So for my next card, what I did here was I cut down one of the envelopes to 3 3/4 by 5, and then cut the piece into 1-inch pieces, like you see here. And then I had a piece of basic black that I was 3 3/4, so it was 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And when I placed them on here, I actually didn't love it. I thought that it was I couldn't get them to space right, and I actually just didn't like it. I tried it on the pink background thinking that that would sort of help a little bit, but it actually didn't. I still didn't like it very much. So then I took the piece of basic black, and I cut it into 1 1/8 inch strips so that I would have just a small border around each of the envelope elements. And I thought that probably would be the look that I was looking for. So then I thought I took the back half of the card and trimmed that down to 4 by 5 1/4, and proceeded to lay out the black layers with the envelope pieces on top of that. And when I put it on the mossy meadow background, I actually thought that it was still kind of blah, like it was really missing something. But I also noticed at this point that the basic black was just a smidgen too long. It wasn't giving me that 1/8 of an inch around border on the top and bottom that I wanted. So I just quickly trimmed off 1/8 of an inch off of each of the black pieces, and then again off of the 1-inch pieces from the envelope. And when I laid those out, they fit much better on that piece of Old Olive Mossy Meadow from the back of the original card base. When I put it on there, though, I actually still didn't love it. But you can see here I'm just kind of piecing it on there. More for size, and then hoping that once I had the right size that it would kind of grow on me. So then I thought, well, I have these pieces here. I'll just go ahead and glue my elements to my back, because I knew I was going to keep the black pieces regardless of what I do with the Mossy Meadow. And I sped it up here a little bit because it was kind of like watching paint dry. So then I pulled out a piece of Calypso Coral, and it still kind of didn't do it for me. And then I got the bright idea to try white, and that didn't do it for me. So then I thought, well, we could make a background. So I took the floral stamp from the Paper Pumpkin kit and used Mossy Meadow ink, and just kind of made a background randomly, stamping that flower all over the basic white. And it was still really bland. I thought, it's just not jumping out at me. I don't love it. This is kind of my thought process when I'm preparing things for classes. I just experiment with a bunch of things, and it might end up in the recycle bin or it might not. Then I got the bright idea because there's a lot of peach in the daisy center. I decided to go with a piece of the peach pie, and lo and behold, I did like that color. And then I took the little striped stamp from the stamp set and used peach pie ink and created a background on the piece of peach pie just by randomly stamping this little striped element all over the peach pie piece to create kind of a background just so that it wasn't really plain. Then I put my card pieces back on, and when it was finished, I actually really liked it. So now I've mounted it onto a card base of Mossy Meadow, and I took my Thanks and Beyond die cut that I actually had made a whole pile of them, and I have them in a little box, but this is the Thanks and Beyond add-on paper pumpkin dies from April, May, June. They're still available in the online store if you're interested in them. And I cut out the thanks part in the 24 to 26 in color glimmer paper, which is in the annual catalog. And then I used my brother's Scan and Cut to cut a black shadow background for them. So now I'm just using the black Stampin' Dimensionals to mount it on my card. There, isn't that so pretty? Now, one thing I didn't do is put a few embellishments on it, but I should have, and I did later actually. So here I've taken another card base, and I'm using the Mango Melody one this time. And I'm going to cut the front again to 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to trim the back part to 4 by 5 1/4. So here I'm taking my perennial postage die set, and they are currently an online exclusive, so you can access those in my online store. And I thought postage cards seem to be a real fad right now, so I thought I would take some of these dies and just create like raised elements out of them. So you can see me here, I'm just arranging a few of the dies, and then I'm going to run them through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to have the 3 separate elements. I'm just using some washi tape here to secure the dies. I don't want them shifting around when I run them through the machine. So at this point I decided to trim off 1/8 of an inch from all 4 sides just to make it 1/4 of an inch smaller. And then I decided, instead of putting it onto the Melon Mambo piece, I was going to have a black background instead. So I had to trim it down in order for it to fit the piece of black that I had. That was 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Then I just glued my white skeleton part to the basic black to create the background for the front of the card. And here I'm just using my Tombow multi-purpose glue. This is my favorite glue. It dries fairly quickly, but not too quick. You still have time to move things around if you need to. So I mounted the little sections with black Stampin' Dimensionals, and just look at how pretty that is. So now I can go ahead and mount this onto the piece of Melon Mambo, which was the back side of the original card. And the one that I had did not fit, so I had to harvest another backing from my last card. So this would be 4 by 5 1/4. I trimmed it down to. And then I just mounted the black piece onto the Melon Mambo card base. And so that sort of completes the front of the card. So now I'm going to take some Wink of Stella, and I'm just squeezing the Wink of Stella pen to get a little bit of extra glitter into the brush part of the pen, and I'm just using the cap to give it some momentum so that I can flick some gold sparkly splatter onto the front of the card. That just really makes it look so pretty. Now you can tell I got just as much on my desk as I did on the card. So I've actually cut up a cardboard box that I'm going to use as a splatter box for future splattering. And then I thought it needed still a little bit extra, so I went ahead and just put some Wink of Stella on the front of the flowers to finish it off. You can really see, if you look in the light, you can really see the shimmer. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Just love it. So now we needed a sentiment, and I'm going to do some white heat embossing on the black card. And this piece of card is just leftover scraps. Don't throw out your strips of cardstock because you can really almost always use everything for sentiments or little elements or whatever. So for this particular card, I'm using the I'm So Lucky to Have You in My Life, which is part of the Paper Pumpkin stamp set. So I've put the embossing buddy powder onto the black cardstock. And what this does is it eliminates fingerprints and or static because you don't want the white embossing powder sticking anywhere that you don't want it to because it can leave a shadow or a fingerprint, and once it's melted on the cardstock, it's there forever. So I'm going ahead and I just um, stamped my sentiment with the Versamark ink. Versamark is a clear watermark ink and it stays sticky for quite a while so that you can adhere the embossing powder right to it. And here I've got the Stampin' Up! White embossing powder. And I just keep it in these little containers that I get at the dollar store. So I'm going to go ahead now and use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder to make it permanent. It doesn't take very long. It never gets old. I love watching it change from a powder finish to shiny. Then I took a microfiber cloth and I just wiped off the excess of the embossing buddy. And then I trimmed out my sentiment using my paper snips. So now that I have it all trimmed out and finally figured out where I wanted it to go, I just used my mini black Stampin' Dimensionals to pop it onto the card. And then for the embellishments, I used the 2023 to 2025 in color adhesive dots. And they didn't have a pink one, but I used the Moody Mauve and they looked really pretty. So I mounted the card front that we just finished onto a basic white thick card base, and that's our card. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it, love it. Now I'm going to create an alternative. I'm going to create a shaker card in this style. I had recorded the actual process to do this card, but somehow the footage got deleted right off my computer. So I'm going to take this card front because this is my last card front that I have out of the kit. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to do just up until where where I start assembling the card. I don't know what the hell happened, but I'll tell you, technology and I. So this, I'm going to trim this to 3 3/4 by 5. So then I'm going to take a piece of basic black that I'm going to cut at this is already, I think, 5 1/4. Quite often what I'll do is I'll take a half a package of the black and a half a package of white, and I pre-make card bases, and then I cut the other half into 4 by 5 1/4 so that I have card bases and things ready. And so I do that with black and white when I get them, and then they're always there. So this is 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to layer on here. And I actually wish I had cut the green differently, but you know what? It's too late now. And I just want to show you the technique because I'm going to actually use the other part of the video that I made yesterday of putting the card together. I don't know what happened to my footage, but it isn't there. So what I did was I'm going to be recreating the shaker cards that I made yesterday. Aren't they cute? And I'm using the perennial postage dies. So I'm going to take just the top. I'm going to put this one down here in the corner. And this one over here. Oh, there, sorry. So I'm going to put this die here. This one over here. This larger one across the top in the middle. And I'm going to pop this little guy right here. So here are my die cut pieces. And then, so what we need to do on the back of this is put a piece of window sheet. And I have some window sheet over here, and I'm going to cut this to 3.5 by 4 3/4. Got my card front here. I'm going to take some tear tape, and I'm just going to go around the outside. Doesn't have to be fancy. You just want to hold the window sheet on to the front. It's not going to make a difference if there's a gap, because the sequins can't escape from this side. They can only escape from where you put the foam strips. So yeah, this side doesn't have to be pretty. There. But I am going to put a piece right here because I don't want it gaping. I don't know whether it would gape or not, but you know, don't tempt fate. The way my week has been going, yeah, we don't want to tempt fate. I had my 2 little granddaughters here this week. Boy, talk about perpetual motion. It's a shame you can't bottle what keeps these 2 moving, because holy Dinah. It was so quiet here last night. At dinner, Glenn and I just kind of looked at each other and went, oh, wow. Because I had Isla here most of the week, and then we had Olivia, who's 3, and just never stops moving. She's cute and never stops talking and never stops moving. But, you know, when you're our age, we're both 70, and we haven't had children around for a really long time. I mean, I do spend a lot of time with my grandkids, but it's different when they're in your home and you can't send them to mommy. All right, so I'm going to lay this on here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You just don't want it peeking out on the sides. But you know what I did? Nuts. And I did this on the first one too. And I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to put this on the black, and I'm going to go get a piece of old olive, I think. And then I'm going to grab another piece of the... I'm going to take this off. I wonder if I can take this off. This probably is a bad idea, but... Yeah, you know what? I'm just wrecking it. Okay, never mind. So I'm going to do what I did the first time, because I'm just so frustrated, like nothing's going right. So let me get my things in order here. So I got my flowers. This goes this way. This goes this way. This goes this way. And then this little guy goes this way. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put some glue behind this one. And I'm going to position this where I want it to be, because I can't believe that I put the window sheet on before I wanted this in here. So I'm going to slide this under here. And I'm just going to position it and press down. Ta-da! When there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Put a little bit of glue. And so ideally what you want to do is, before you put the window sheet on the back, obviously, is to just fit them into the cutouts and pop them onto the background. All right. Okay. So that's where we need those to be. Next, I have, so this is at this stage is where you would put your window sheet on the back. So now I'm going to take my foam strips and just grab my scissors. Now, when you're putting on your foam strips, you want to be as close to your opening as possible. And I mean, I could just do it down both sides, like around all four sides, and just leave it kind of like with no barriers in between each window. But what happens then is all your sequins are going to go to the bottom, and you're not going to have um, like each little shaker card is not going to have, or each little shaker window isn't going to have their own little sequins. So I'm making a little, basically a little shaker card out of each window, if you get my drift. So you butt them right up against each other, and I'm not too concerned about the sides. I'm more concerned about how close to the top and bottom we are so that the sequins stay contained. And so I can use this little one right here. So there we go. Oh, I can't believe I put the window sheet on before I put those little cutouts back where they go. Seriously, I tell you. I tell you. There, so I'm just filling in the gaps a little bit because I don't want anything kind of droopy. Got enough droopy business going on with my body. So I'm just filling in any little gaps that we have here on the edges. So I'm just going to pop that there. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take these sequins. Now you may see some of this repeated in the video that I started earlier, but I'm just going to put this in here. I mean, you know, if I have to edit it out, I will. There, so I'm going to pop these in here. Again, these are retired. These are the subtle shimmer sequins. But I just got a sneak peek at our new holiday catalog that is coming out in September. So I got a digital copy this week, and there's some really cute shaker card elements in there. And I'm really excited because I can pre-order a few things this week. Now, I've already had a bit of a pre-order. I bought the, oh, what's it called? The winter, I think it's called Winter Woods. I can't remember. Uh, Actually, I think I did some cards with that, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check and see if I did a video. And if I did, I'll pop it up. I'll pop up a little link to it. Now, one thing I didn't see this year, they've really cut back on Halloween. With having little grandkids, I love Halloween stuff, so I'm gonna have to maybe. There's one very cute little stamp set that I may order. If you want to check it out, it's in the online exclusives. It's called I don't even know what it's called, but it's like there's a cauldron and a cat, and it's extremely cute. And there's some little crazy ghosts of different stamp set. So there's a few, but there's not like last year when they had all the designer paper and everything. They don't have any of that this year, which I was kind of disappointed in. All right, so now I'm going to line this up like, oops, like this. Try not to get my head in the camera here. But I want to line it up so that my edges are straight. Ta-da! We did it. And then there's our little stinking cute shaker card. Isn't that adorable? So then I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to actually revert back to my original video and I will finish this card Super later. Cute. So now let's find a sentiment. And I do have a bunch of these sentiments that I showed you in the last half of the video. So we could do Feel Better Soon. Can't say I love that. Or we could do Celebrate. Or, actually, we could use what we had in our kit. So we could take this and one of our sentiments that we had printed off, stamped off earlier, and take a piece of the black from when we trimmed our other thing. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to take a piece of the black that when we trimmed our background here. I'll cut it about the same size, I guess. Offset this. Let's cut these both on an angle. So I'm going to cut this on an angle like this. And then I'm going to line this up. Cut this on the same angle. Okay, and then I'm going to put this like this. And then pop this up there. Okay, so we'll put a bit of glue here. And I'm just going to sit this on here so that it's offset. Straighten it out a little bit, pop that there. And then put this up here. Okay, we're going to put that there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on these two edges. And then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Now this card is pretty dimensionally. And I kind of still think it needs a little bit of something. What if we took, I'm just going to reach for my Flirty Flamingo alcohol marker here and see how that's going to work. So I've got my dark Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to color one of these sequins. Now, it may or may not work. I don't know. If we don't like it, we can always take it off, right? So it just gives it a smidgen of color. It's still got that glowy, that iridescent kind of look on it. Doesn't even really show up. It shows up in person, but I don't really see it showing up on the, oh yeah, maybe a little bit. But it shows up as pink, not Calypso Coral. Oh yeah. That works. Okay, let's do a couple more in Calypso Coral. Now you can do this with the rhinestones or the iridescent pearls, anything like that. just use your alcohol markers, your Stampin' blends. They're alcohol-based markers, and they will color your clear and white gems and ribbon, for that matter, to whatever color marker you use. If you don't have the right color of sequin that you need, then that will do the trick. Yeah, the Calypso Coral was the right color. So that's super cute. And then you've got your shaker on the inside like that. So let's clean this up a little bit. We'll finish this other card later. Actually, I can do it now and then I'll put it on fast forward. So I'm going to put my... Okay, so I have my other card base here, and I thought what I would do, and it may or may not make a difference, but I thought I would add some Wink of Stella to this part here. Just for that little shimmer behind the window. It may not even show up, but we'll see. So you can see I didn't use a lot. I went off there, but that's going to be covered anyway by the frame. You can see the shimmer, I think. Well, I can see it though. All right, so let's pop that back on there and put some sequins in there. We put the other one on a white card base, right? So let's put this one on a black card base. Oh, we have to do our background. So for this one, I'm going to need the pink one. Yes, I do have one. Okay, is this going to fit? It is. And then this is going to sit on here. Perfect. Okay, so let's glue this up. And I'm just going to center that on there. There. So pretty. Look at the shimmer. You know what? You can really see the shimmer. Oops. You can really see the shimmer from the Wink of Stella, even through the window sheet. That looks super, super cute. So I'm just going to mount this on here and pop that right on there. So yesterday I had a really emotional event in the morning. My son's best friend is a war veteran in the Canadian Army, and he did a few tours in Afghanistan. And he's been home for a while. But you know, when these guys come home, they do have, there's trauma, right? So I've been quilting for the Quilts of Valor. So if you don't know what that is, it's an organization who a bunch of ladies donate their time and talent and make comfort quilts for Canadian veterans. And so I applied for a quilt for my son's friend, and I had the privilege to present it to him on Sunday morning. And even though it was just my son and I and him there, it was extremely emotional. My son has known Kevin since they were probably 4th grade, maybe. Kevin came to town and was in Ian's class, and they've been best friends ever since. And so Kevin was in town. A friend of theirs is a musician, and he was having an event last night. So Kevin came. He met me, bless his heart, 8 o'clock in the morning because I wanted to get home from dropping Isla off, and presented him with the quilt. And it was really, really lovely. He was so overwhelmed, I guess. Yeah, it was really beautiful. It was really, really, really beautiful. And so yeah, that's what I did yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. And it was really something. There, I just put a little bit of shimmer on the pink parts of the flower on the front here. I think that makes a little bit of a difference. Okay, so here's this other quilt. So I think this time going to use this Celebrate maybe. And I'm going to put this just here. Pop this right on here. That should anchor it quite well, I think. So I'm just going to stick that there. Okay. So these are the classic matte dots. Not 100% sure if these are current. Kind of think they are, but... So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. Oops. I keep losing it. And I'm going to put... There, I think that looks nice. I think, you know, nothing over the top because you've got the shimmer. I kind of like that. I think that's really pretty. So on the inside, you could take your gray granite and do something like we did on here in this card if you wanted to on the inside, or just put in a sentiment, or yeah, you could do lots of different things. Okay, let's tidy up here. Okay, so here are the cards that we made with this kit. So these are the original 3 that kind of were described in the kit. And I was so excited to be able to order the refills for this kit because it's such a stunning, beautiful kit. And they were sold out by 6:45 Mountain Time in the morning. All right, so these were the 3 original cards that were in the kit. So let's put these up here. And then the first 3 alternatives that I made were these 3. Using the dies from the April, May, June Paper Pumpkin add-on dies. And then this set of dies. And so the April, May, June one was called Thanks and Beyond, and you got the butterfly and the little sentiment badge or whatever, and the thanks, and so that was this one. And then the Hooray is from the Every Celebration dies, and these are the add-on dies for Paper Pumpkin for July, August, September, and you can only get these if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. And if you were a subscriber, or you are a subscriber and you took advantage of the Paper Pumpkin sale last week, you could have gotten those at a discounted price. So here are the 3 that we did as the first 3 alternatives that I did. And then this afternoon when I was editing the other video from the other day when I did these 6 cards, I thought, you know, I could turn this one into a shaker card. And then here was one of the other alternatives that I did that was a shaker card as well. And then these are the 2 that we made today. Aren't they gorgeous? Gorgeous. So those are the Paper Pumpkins for July, called Painted Petals. And I'm so disappointed that I couldn't get a refill, but look at all the cards I got. And there's still, I have enough to probably make another 5 or 6 cards. So I'm pretty stoked. I still have stuff that I can play with, and I've got my stamps and my leftover envelopes that I can take apart. Like this one was made with an envelope. So, I mean, tons of alternatives still. I still have all of my envelopes. I haven't used them up except for this one. So yeah, we're good to go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making all of these cards. And if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I'm really excited. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. I'm now, I believe, at about 420 subscribers, and my goal by the end of August to hit 500. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. I would love to have you as part of my audience. And if you have subscribed, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And I'd love to hear comments from you as well. If you wouldn't mind, that'd be awesome. Thanks again. Thank you so much. Have an awesome afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.